Thank you very much for joining us today for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. And of course, today is World Press Freedom Day. And we do wish the best all the journalists who are working round the clock to ensure that you, the viewer, is informed with what is happening not only in the country but outside the country. And of course, there is that emerging side of journalism. It is called the citizen journalism. I don't know whether they are part of the Press Freedom Day celebrations, but wherever you are, if you are disseminating important and very vital information responsibly, then today is your day. My name is Edward Kabasa. My sign language interpreter this afternoon is Lensa Odingo. You can interact with us through our social media platforms at KBC Channel 1 on Twitter and Facebook. It is KBC Channel 1. My Twitter handle is at Ed Kabasa. Welcome to the program. Police have launched investigations into a murder incident in Nairobi where a 24-year-old mother stabbed her two children to death before attempting to kill herself. Winfred Nduku is said to have killed her 6-year and 2-year-old children in their house in Kayole Estate over what family members linked to stress and family conflict.
Bloodstains on the floor and on the window curtains are evident of the gruesome murder meted out on the innocent children here at Kayole. Their mother, identified as 24-year-old Winfred Nduku, is said to have turned into a monster and stabbed them to death using a knife on Saturday night.
Akaruka akakuja katoa hapa kisu. Sasa mimi nikafikiria ni kiti amedunga. Nikawa amefanya hivyo mara mbili. Nikafikiria ni kitu nini amedunga, ni kiti. Akaruka kwa huyu mwingine alikuwa amekaa pale. Akaruka na sasa nikaona na kesi zilivyo nimeona mbejuka tumbo. Nikaona ndio nikaruka kwake. Akanikata sasa mimi hapa, akaniambia taenda kudunga. Sasa mimi nikajizuia wapi? Hapa. Akanikata sasa ingine. Sasa tukaguka naye nje. Ndio tumepaka hiyo kitambaa hivi.
Josephine Wambua, the grandmother to the children, sustained minor injuries on her hands as she intervened to save the children. The Saturday 7 p.m. incident is said to have started after the grandmother asked Winfred to feed her 2-year-old child, but Winfred, an online shoe seller, turned violent.
Akakuja kukalia hapo, mimi nilikuwa nimelala hapa. Sasa ni mtoto alimdogo alikuwa amekaa pale anacheza na simu. Sasa nikamuuliza, umekuja sasa hivi unacheza na simu na mtoto ajana mchana? Mpatie chakula kwanza ndio hii. Mpatie chakula amalize alale. Ndio uchati na simu. Akaanza tu akaendelea na kuchati tu. Ile maji nilikuwa nakunywa hapa na kikombe nikamrushia. Nikamwambia patia mtoto chakula juu na kuongelesha usikii kama ni mtu anaongea. Akaniambia hata wanajua na sababu anajiue. Nilikuwa nafikia amedunga huyu. Sasa niliona damu kwa huyu. Sasa nikaruka. Sasa nilikuwa nimelala nimekaa tu hapa chini sasa. Ndio nikarukia pale kumshika, akaniambia ataenda kuua. Akanidunga, akanirushia, nikashika kisu. Akakataa nayo akajiduka sasa tumbo.
And before neighbors could come to their rescue, the two innocent children had already succumbed to the injuries. Winfred, who is currently receiving treatment at a hospital, is said to have stabbed herself on the stomach as she tried to commit suicide. Winfred has been described as a silent lady. The grandmother, however, says Winfred's beastly action may have been caused by stress and family conflict.
Bwana yake naona kama anasubuana juu sasa tangu watoto wote ni mimi nimelelea hapa. Alizaa wa kwanza akakuja akiwa na miezi. Sasa nimelea mtoto akafikisha miaka 3. Bwana yake wakaja wakarudiana tena akapata mimba nyingine. Akarudi hapa na hiyo mimba sasa. Sasa nikalea tena huyo akazalia hapa. Nimelea huyo paka wa leo. Sasa ndio sasa ni kama anakuwa na hiyo uchungu.
After schools closed, the mother is said to have requested to stay with the children in Kayole, who all along had stayed at Mihango with their grandfather. Kayole police have launched investigation into the murder most foul. Kamchemeza.
Health officials in Migori County are calling for the establishment of a fully equipped medical laboratory for testing for coronavirus along the Sibania border. The county's chief officer in charge of public health, Fidel Majiwa, says the move will reduce time wasted transferring samples to Kisumu and Nairobi. Migori County has 2 cases of COVID-19. Purity Musel reports.
A day after the Ministry of Health announced 2 cases of COVID-19 in Kuria West in Migori County, health officials are afraid the numbers could rise and want immediate action. Part of their suggestion is to have a fully operational COVID-19 testing medical laboratory in the area.
We hope that sooner or later, through negotiations with the national government, we can have the PCR testing kit within Migori County to be able to help us in enhanced testing. You are well aware that we are supposed to start testing truck drivers who are on the move. To reduce the turnaround time, it would therefore mean that if we could have a testing machine within Migori County, it would make our work very easy.
According to the officials, there has been uncontrolled cross-border migration between Kenya and Tanzania, a country which has reported nearly 500 cases of COVID-19.
We are so much worried because, you know, this COVID issue is not about a specific individual. It's for us all. Number one, these people, if they happen to come and it happens that it has occurred around here, Kuria community in Timaru, it is the same community that is across the other side. People live in Timaru have relatives in the other side. So it's up to us to actually take care of each one of us.
The chief officer added that Kenyans who live and work in Tanzania are running back home for safety, and the number is likely to increase in the coming days.
We also realize that we have people who stay away, like they live in Dar es Salaam or they live in Mwanza or something like that. So such people also, they are trying to come back home. So we also have to be out and share with the public. We tell them that if such a person, whether or not this person is your relative, you should not hide this person, because whatever the cost is going to cost onto your family and yourself is more than hiding it.
The two cases announced by the government on Saturday are said to have had history of travel from the neighboring Tanzania.
And the last two cases are from Kuria West in Migori County. And these two had a recent history of travel from Tanzania.
On Friday, 32 Kenyans were intercepted and quarantined at Mabera in Kuria West as they tried to flee through the porous borders. Tanzania has recorded about 480 cases of COVID-19, with Kenya recording 435. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
A section of elders from the Kipsigis community has conducted a ritual to allegedly cast out the COVID-19 pandemic. The elders believe that through the ritual, the coronavirus will be stopped on its tracks, even as they urged Kenyans to follow the government's directive on COVID-19. These elders have gathered along the banks of River Damur in Narok County to cast the coronavirus pandemic. Sticks which symbolize the coronavirus are then thrown into the river and swept downstream. This ritual they hope will stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Tumeamini hii ugonjwa kutoka leo imeondoka kwa Kenya yetu, imeondoka kwa dunia mzima. Hiyo ni wito kutoka kwa wasi wetu ambaye alituambia kutoka zamani, janga lolote ikitokea, musanyike, musungumuse na mlaani.
Though hundreds of thousands of people have recovered from COVID-19, there is still no known cure. These elders are, however, part of a growing list of people who believe that supernatural powers hold the key to defeating the coronavirus.
Tangu zamani za kale, wazee wetu ilipotokea jambo lolote mbaya, ugonjwa kama hizi, walikuwa wakienda kuomba na Mungu walikuwa akisikiza na anaondoa hiyo ugonjwa.
Despite their efforts, they however insist that laid down measures such as hand washing and safe social distancing remain some of the best ways of combating the spread of the pandemic. Let's take a look at other matters now. 2 people have been confirmed dead in Budalangi, and more than 6,000 families rendered homeless after their houses were marooned by floods after River Nzoia burst its banks. Residents in the area say they have been forced to seek alternative shelter and fear contracting waterborne diseases. They are now appealing to the national government to supply them with relief food and find a permanent solution to the flooding menace in the area.
Two people have been confirmed dead as floods continue to wreak havoc along the Nzoia Basin. The two were swept away after River Nzoia burst its bank. On Saturday, more than 6,000 families had to move to higher grounds to avoid the floods. Area MP Raphael Wanjala has asked the government to declare floods a national disaster since most of the parts of the country have been affected and hundreds left homeless.
Nataka kuambia serikali ya kwamba pia wajue haya mafuriko sasa ni janga la kitaifa hapa Kenya. Na kwa hivyo pia wakuwe na focus ya kuhakikisha hawa watu sasa hawana manyumba, hawana mahali ya kuishi, vitu zao zimepotea, hawana chakula.
He called on the Ministry of Lands to speed up land compensation to enable Sino Hydro Company complete building of dikes which had stalled for the last 2 years. Busia County Commissioner Joseph Kanyiri said the government will help affected residents with food but cautioned them to move to higher grounds for their safety.
Tuna msaada, ikifikia kesho tutaanza kuwapa chakula cha mgao, mchere na mafuta, baadhi yao wataweza kupata. Lakini tunashauriana na serikali kuu ni msaada gani mwingine tutaweza kuwafikishia. Kwa hiari yao wahame. Mtu asikae kule ambako kumefurika kisha aseme serikali itatuma chopa.
Over 80 families from Rubere in Ngarua division of Laikipia County are counting huge losses occasioned by heavy rains pounding in the area. It is reported that 400 acres of tomatoes belonging to families was swept away by raging floods after 5 rivers broke their banks. And according to Matwika Location Chief John Wamae and Gethiga Ward MCA Peter Thomi, the area has for the last 3 days received a very heavy rainfall that has led to flooding of the farms.
Tuko na around 80 household ambao wamekuwa affected na tunakadiria ni kama eka 400 hivi za chakula ambazo zimeharibiwa na maji, ikiwa ni maharagwe, ikiwa ni mahindi, ikiwa ni tomato na cabbage na aina zingine za chakula.
Hapa kunayo shida, sio mwaka huu wa kwanza, sio ule mwingine, na development, pesa ya development iko. Ni vizuri, na mimi niombe, ni vizuri hawa wananchi waangaliwe kwa njia ile inapaswa mtu kuangaliwa na sheria ifanye kazi yake.
Reporting for Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troenjwe.
Drama ensued at the Kangundo Level 4 mortuary after 2 wives fought for the right to bury their deceased husband. One of the wives went ahead to produce some paraphernalia that included some sort of ash to win the burial tassel, only for the trick to backfire before getting chased away from the mortuary by the attendants.
The move by the second wife of the late Gideon Mwema to bring with her some of the deceased garments contrary to the arrangement and some portions of what looked like ash in the mortuary raised eyebrows, with the morgue attendants questioning the motive. The attendants said they stopped to dress the deceased after they identified that Grace Kamene had brought paraphernalia and demanding for some said rituals to be followed during the process. It is this questionable demand that forced the attendants to alert the first family.
Kazi yetu ni kuosha watu, walipe payments. Leo tumepata kitu kingine tujiona kama sasa jifu. Na mtu ni Salvation Army.
Sasa sisi tumeshangaa sana, hatujui hiyo ni nini, tujawahi iona. Sasa hatujui tuseme nini.
After her plan was botched, Kamene ran for her safety, leaving the first family to take over the burial plans. Iked by the move, the family spokesperson Daniel Masila attributed the alleged ashes to witchcraft, insisting that according to Akamba traditional rites, the deceased must be buried at the first wife's homestead.
Katika kimila na kidistori ya Kikamba, bwana akianga akiwa na bibi wawili ushikwa kwa bibi wa kwanza, kwa sababu bibi wa kwanza ndiyo anafaa kushika bwana.
The first wife family revealing that there has been a tussle between who should bury the deceased.
Ni mbaba yangu wakasema mtoto wao afai ashikwe pale, ile shamba iko pale ambao panaitwa ndo Samburu, sababu ni ya serikali, ni watu mahali watu hawezi shikwa, ni mahali watu ambao kama sikota mahali pale haparuhusiwi kushika mtu. Wakasema hawatatupa mtoto wao ashikwe kwa bibi wa kwanza. Bibi wa kwanza.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
And in other matters, a man in Baringo County has adopted a baboon that has seen him sever links with his family. Isaac Kibet took care of a young baboon that was abandoned by a troop had invaded his farm.
Isaac Kibet and his adorable baboon met at this Chepkom village in Kabarnet. The baboon, named Josephine Kibet, is said to have lost touch with its mother that abandoned it in a farm.
Nilikuwa nakula ndio akaingia. Mimi akaninyang'anya nini sahani yangu ya ugali. Nikampea. Mwisho nikitaka yeye kufukuza niambie enda sasa. Akakoma ndio mimi nikaamua kukaa na yeye.
Tumekaa kama mnyama ya nyumbani sasa. Sasa tunapenda. Na kila mtu anakuja kubea hata kangumu, mkate na kunywanga hata soda. Tuliona akiwa mdogo hata bado ichemea nini mnyoyo yake. Ilikuwa bado ni kama mtoto tu. Hata mimi niliambia rutisha venye ulitoa akaniambia wacha nibele kwa polisi.
Kibet, a father of 4 children, considers the baboon his 5th child, but the adoption did not come without a cost for Kibet, even after being given a go-ahead by authorities to take care of the mammal. His family has cut ties with him.
Na kijana yangu basi tu iko form 2 Kabartonja. Ndio hata alikuwa anasema nakuja maliza hii kitu. Mimi nikamwambia hapana. Hii kitu yangu hii acha mimi nifuge, afadhali ukaa na mama yangu. Mimi nikikaa na kitu yangu ndio mimi nitafutia kazi yangu. Sababu hii najua hii kitu itakuja kunisaidia baadaye.
Kibet, however, is not ready to let go the animal and now being forced to look for someone to take care of it while he is away.
All right, that's a really powerful story because we rarely see Kenyans adopting such kind of animals, but I hope that this story will have a very happy ending. Thank you very much for tuning in thus far. We are taking a short break. Channel 1 Lunchtime News continues shortly.
What has been your greatest challenge as a parent during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic situation? As we wait for the pandemic to be over at home, COVID-19 has given us an opportunity to reconnect with our children. Join Nakada during Good Morning Kenya Breakfast Show as we discuss positive parenting. Remember, parenting is all about you. Nakada, for a nation free from alcohol and drug abuse.
On the next episode of Elena's Ghost.
Where is Elena? Answer me.
None of us has any idea who this Elena is.
Look at this woman. What a liar she is.
Let him go. Let him go. Leave him alone. Let him go.
Get back or I'll blow your head off. Tell me more about Alan Martin.
Well, he told me that Margot had been sending her checks, but that she never got them.
Of course.
I know where Elena is.
Did you hear me, Mr. Huron?
I said I know where Elena is.
It's 21 minutes past the hour. Thank you very much for keeping us company. This is Channel 1 Lunchtime News. A section of residents within Kitengela area are crying foul over what they termed as neglect by the National Environment Management Authority of an open sewer. According to the residents of Ideal Namelok Estate, raw sewer has been flowing into their neighborhood from the faulty septic tank, posing a health hazard, and they are pleased with NEMA and the county government of Kajiado have been ignored.
Residents of Ideal Nemlock Estate in Kitengela want the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, to investigate and contain the source of the raw sewage flowing into feeder roads leading to their homes.
So what is happening here is that now you can see from here we have raw sewage coming from these developments, and we have not seen any action taken either by the county or by the residents who live within the estates.
According to the residents, some unscrupulous real estate developers have not built septic tanks and have instead redirected sewer from their houses to the roads.
But the problem here is these Ideal schools have been, maybe they don't cooperate or something like that. And as you can see, the sewage, actually, at the end of the day, I'm the biggest sufferer. You can see it is moving from there, going down to my house.
The residents further allege that recarpeting of some roads in the area have stalled because of the pollution, and efforts to have NEMA and Kajiado County government address the matter have been in vain.
We talk to them when the development is coming up. We already have a residents association where we channel our complaints through. But every other time when we have the sewerage issues and we go to them, they are actually aware of it. So you find someone telling you, oh, that same issue.
Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News.
Let's look at World Press Freedom Day now. Governments have been urged not to use the coronavirus pandemic to curtail press freedom. While joining the world in marking the Free Press World Day, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said the current lockdowns in many countries should not be abused and used to crack down on the fourth estate that is crucial in the war against the pandemic.
The media has been urged to step up its efforts in disseminating crucial information to the public that might help curb the spread of the virus. Speaking during the marking of this year's World Freedom Day, United Secretary General Antonio Guterres says though the current movement restrictions are meant to ease the effects of COVID-19 among the masses, they have curtailed free press, urging governments to facilitate journalists to execute their operations for the good of the masses.
Journalists and media workers are crucial to helping us make informed decisions. As the world fights the COVID-19 pandemic, those decisions can make the difference between life and death. On World Press Freedom Day, we call on governments and others to guarantee that journalists can do their jobs throughout the COVID-19 pandemic and beyond.
While noting that many journalists have been subjected to increased restrictions and punishments since the advent of COVID-19, Guterres warned that the media was an essential antidote for the information and conspiracies surrounding the virus.
As the pandemic spreads, it has also given rise to a second pandemic of misinformation, from harmful health advice to wild conspiracy theories. The press provides the antidote: verified, scientific, fact-based news and analysis. But since the pandemic began, many journalists are being subjected to increased restrictions and punishments simply for doing their jobs. Temporary constraints on freedom of movement are essential to beat COVID-19, but they must not be abused as an excuse to crack down on journalists' ability to do their work.
These as editors from East Africa region question the press independence during the COVID-19 period as revenues run out.
Samburu County Woman Representative Maison Leshomo has distanced herself from claims that she engineered the eviction of illegal settlers out of Kirisia Forest in Samburu County. Leshomo instead says it was the government through the Ministry of Environment that directed people to leave the forest, a directive she fully supports.
Samburu Woman Representative Maison Leshomo has lauded illegal settlers who have vacated Kirisia Forest in Samburu. She said a large percentage of people who lived in the forest have already left, saying those who are still there to leave.
Mimi sijatuma mtu wa serikali forest aende ondoe watu, ni sheria iliwekwa na serikali kuu, sio Mason, na lazima tufuate hiyo sheria ile iliwekwa, watu watoke forest na wachunge forest.
Leshomo took issue with a section of politicians who she accused of inciting and funding people against government's directive that all people must vacate the forest.
Kutumia pesa kwa M-Pesa. Sasa ile watu wanatoka naambia msitoke. Na wale anatumia watu kuambia wasitoke wanasiasa au wana forest yao na inachungwa kuchungwa.
The legislator was speaking at her home in Naiborkeju village where she planted 300 trees seedlings in addition to 500 she had planted.
500 nilikuwa nataka kufikisha miti hata kama ni 2,000. Kwa sababu sisi tuko kwa kiwanja haina miti.
Area resident lauded government's efforts in restoring the country's forest cover. Suleimanieri, Channel 1 News.
Thousands of protesters defied a beach closure in California to demonstrate against the governor's order to close all beaches in Orange County. The United States has recorded nearly 64,000 deaths with over 1.1 million cases of the coronavirus.
California's Governor Gavin Newsom promised meaningful adjustments to stay-at-home orders in the coming days as thousands of protesters gathered across the state in defiance of the lockdown. Demonstrations took place from the capital of Sacramento to San Francisco and San Diego, while large crowds turned out in Orange County's Huntington Beach, a recent flashpoint after Newsom ordered beaches there to close. Mainland China reported no new deaths from the fifth day in a row on Saturday. In France, the daily number of deaths from coronavirus continues to decline. At least 24,760 people have died there after contracting COVID-19, an increase of 166 since Friday, the health ministry announced Saturday. Meanwhile, the French government will extend its state of emergency for another 2 months. Churches in Germany are open for Sunday services for the first time since the lockdown began last month. After weeks of negotiations with officials, religious leaders in Germany have come up with strict rules to prevent coronavirus infections. Churches will restrict numbers attending, and people will have to keep at least 2 meters apart. Elsewhere, Thailand began to ease some of its month-long coronavirus restrictions Sunday as COVID-19 cases in the country continue to fall. Police in Malaysia are rounding up illegal immigrants to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Hundreds of undocumented immigrants have been detained across the capital, Kuala Lumpur. In Brazil, the Minister of Health reported 421 deaths from coronavirus in the past 24 hours, with the total death toll now at 6,750. Brazil has the most reported cases in Latin America. Masks will be compulsory on public transport in Spain from Monday as the country moves to gradually relax its tough lockdown. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez said the government would distribute 6 million masks, mainly at transport locations, and give another 7 million to local authorities. Meanwhile, Tanzania's President John Magufuli has urged people to keep working despite the ongoing pandemic, adding that God shall protect them.
Huu ndio wakati wa kupambana na shetani corona kwa nguvu zote. Nina imani Mungu wetu siku zote atakuwa upande wetu na mapambano haya yetu dhidi ya corona tutayashinda.
Tanzania has seen a sharp increase in the number of reported coronavirus cases, currently at 480. Purity Museo, Channel 1 News.
Well, that's for this edition of Channel 1 Lunchtime News. We do thank you very much for staying with us. My name is Edward Kabasa. Sign language interpreter has been Lensa Odingo. Do stay up to date with breaking news on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. Good afternoon.
Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET-approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Yo, remember, ukitaka kustay safe from coronavirus, lazima ufuate hizi steps. 1. Osha mikono kila time for 20 seconds, hata unaweza imba happy birthday mara mbili. 2. Usishike uso, macho na mapua yako especially kama hujaosha mikono. 3. Ukitaka kucough, utumie tissue alafu utupe kwa dustbin ama ucough kwa elbow. 4. Avoid kuenda mahali kuna watu wengi ama kusalimia mtu na kuhug mtu. In case usikie uko mgonjwa, please ambia parents wako ama guardians wako. Let's all stay safe.
This female Rottweiler named Dunker is not what you would expect. The huge German dog is the proud foster mother of 4 fox cubs. Dunker's owner was approached by the fire service of the small German town Hanya and asked if she could look after some kittens they had found when they cleared away the Easter bonfire. The kittens, however, soon turned out to be 4 fox cubs. These abandoned cubs have had a lucky break though. Dunker might not have had puppies of her own, but is an experienced foster mother. The previous autumn, Dunker had reared 12 kittens on her milk. She was able to look after the fox cubs after just 4 days.